Welcome, everyone, to our first Nomadic radio show. And I'm pretty excited to have Brian here and James moderating. I think it's going to be a great show. We have some topics in the queue to discuss, and depending on our caller load, we'll either just answer some questions here that I've already got in the queue, and you guys might have in the queue as well, or we'll take calls. So with that, Brian, how about telling us a little bit about yourself for those of us that haven't met you?
Yeah, well, my name's Brian. I'm from San Diego, California. I made the decision to change my life and move into a van about 3 years ago, and I lived out of that van for almost 2 years in San Diego and then hit the road about a year ago and been kind of just living out of the van on the road for about a year. And I love it. I'm just having the time of my life out here. It's something I've always wanted to do. And I just feel like I'm kind of like living my dream right now.
Where are you now?
I am just outside of Douglas, Wyoming, at a place, a really cool little gem I found called Ayers Natural Bridge Park. It's a little free campground, and they have like a natural rock bridge going over a stream. Really beautiful place. Just kind of came upon it. I was just out wandering, and that's kind of the beauty of this is I don't do a lot of tourist attractions. I just seem to happen upon a lot of neat little gems that are tucked away, and just having a blast out here.
Sounds good. I'm out here in Moab right now. I've got Boomhauer right here next to me and a couple of other friends that are camping with us. We're about to head into town after this, and I thought that it might be a little bit hot here, and it was the first day or two, but it's starting to cool off, and now that I've got my tarps up, it's perfectly fine out here. And I'll tell you what, I couldn't have made a better decision to come out and live this way when I was contemplating it years ago. I remember having a job that wasn't super fulfilling, wondering if this was viable, looking into minimalism, looking into living out of a backpack, and there wasn't a lot of information out there, but I went ahead and took the plunge anyway. And if there's anybody listening, whether it be live right now or in the future on YouTube, and you're thinking about this lifestyle, I say go for it. I just couldn't be happier. What would you say about that, Brian?
Yeah, it was very much like that for me. I contemplated a few different things before I found that a van would probably be the best choice for me. I was looking into just doing it on foot. I needed an extreme change, minimal, simple life to just become more fulfilled. And as soon as I made the decision and started living differently, things changed like instantly. It was an instant. It was like all of a sudden I was living in a whole different world. Just my perspectives changed, my attitudes. I became much happier, positive. It just really, I can't imagine where my life was headed if I didn't make this choice. It wasn't going in a very good direction as far as my level of happiness. So when I did make this decision, things got better really quick, and I haven't looked back since. It's been an awesome ride.
Where are you
when you say
next, Brian?
I'm sorry, what was that, James?
I
was just going to
headed to.
Where am I headed to?
Oh, I was asking Brian where he's headed to next.
Okay, where I'm headed to, I'm actually was kind of wandering for the last month and a half, and now it's time, is approaching for my next seasonal job. That's how I've been maintaining being on the road. So I am heading from Wyoming up to Drayton, North Dakota, where I'm going to put some time in for their seasonal sugar beet harvest. Usually about 2 weeks of work, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. Good way to make some quick cash. They give you a campsite to stay while you're working. So that's my destination for October 1st. So it's time to start kind of heading that way. And then after that, I'll be heading down to Kentucky to do one more seasonal job before I'm kind of free again for about 5 or 6 months.
If there's somebody listening to this, I was just going to say, if there's somebody listening to this and they'd like to get in on the beet harvest, is there still time?
It's pretty late in the season. The best way to go about these seasonal jobs is like the year before, or at least a good 6-7 months before. So yeah, right now I know somebody that just tried to call and see if there was any room, and they said this year, I think it's getting more publicity than ever. I know I shared a lot about it on YouTube last year, and they said they've had more people apply than ever this year, so they have like 2 pages of backup people. So they're pretty much full up for this season. Yeah.
Was you thinking about going up there, Jamie?
Well, I think I'm going to be set where my schedule is, but I ran into a guy a couple of days ago here in Moab that was looking for work, and I suggested he give it a try, considering a lot of people drop out in the first couple of days. He could get in as a walk-on, but it's just going to depend on how many people show up.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of variables with the job. As far as the time frame, that's the kind of one drawback. There is a ton of overtime involved. That's where you kind of make your money. But there's a lot of stuff depending on weather, that you could have a day off and not get paid. Sometimes the harvest goes quicker. Sometimes it goes longer. Sometimes you're there for a longer period of time, but you have very few work days because of weather. So, there are some variables, but for what it is, it's been something that's helped me sustain on the road. So I'm going to do it again one more time this year.
I see they got a sign down there just across the river from St. Louis. Amazon put up a new building. It's like 8 square acres, and they're looking for workers. They got I think they got 3 camps right down the road from them, a couple miles, and they send them guys down there with a voucher. You know what I mean? It's in Pontoon Beach, Illinois.
Okay. Now, where is that?
It's in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, right across from St. Louis.
Okay, gotcha. And that's a seasonal deal?
Well, it's steady, and they hire seasonal workers there. They got a big sign up. They just opened the place.
Yeah, interesting. Something I might have to check out. So what's your plans, Jamie? How long are you going to hang out in Moab?
Well, I'm going to be here till just kind of it plays out. I've got some friends coming that are going to teach me how to rock climb, so I'm pretty stoked about that. I got a harness when I was in Denver, and they are going to have the rest of the supplies, and so I'm real eager to get my finger strength up and, my foot strength up. It's going to be all these different muscles that I'm not used to using, and so I'm just going to hang out here, do that, do some mountain biking. There's a couple of places that somebody's turned me on to called Porcupine Rim and the Whole Enchilada, which I don't know exactly how to do those, what method you use to explore them. But I know on the Whole Enchilada, I was told it's a 2-hour ride downhill, and some of the stuff is too technical to cross, so you got to get off your mountain bike and walk down certain parts of it. But it sounds like a blast, so I'll probably check that out. And then from there, I don't know, man. If I end up buying a park pass, I don't have a park pass right now, and I'm right here near both Canyonlands and the Arches, and so I would need a pass to get in. If I end up spending $80 on a park pass, I might just go to Zion after this, because there's some places I haven't explored. Those hikes that you see online where people are wading through water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I
so,
forget the name of that one. Yeah, where you have to, walk up a stream. The whole trail is pretty much like walking in water.
So you've got that, and then you've got one called Angel's Landing, which I hear they have driven a chain into a big rock with anchors, and you've got to hold that chain with both hands or you'll fall off. And so I might put a chest GoPro on and do that if I go to Zion. There's still a lot of unfinished business in Utah. It seems like one of the top places for state parks.
Yeah, and that path between those 3 parts will pay for itself for the $80. I've had one last year, and it's about to expire. I'm going to get another one.
are they good for 12 months or is it the year?
No, it's from the time that you buy it. They stamp it so if you buy it at the beginning of the month, it's better. But yeah, it's from the time, 12 months from the time you buy it.
So in other words, these places are only really perfect during the shoulder season, so which we're getting ready to come into. I could buy it now, enjoy the parks until I head down further south, and then pick it back up in spring if I'd like. So that worked out.
Yeah. You've got those 2 seasons. Awesome, man. That sounds like a great plan. I'm kind of envious. I'm going to be working. You're going to be out there adventuring.
Well, if it's only for a few weeks, I'll be out doing this for a couple of months. So you're more than welcome to come out and join us and see if you can pick up a mountain bike along the way. You said something about wanting to get one?
Yeah. After this job, that's the first thing I'm going to invest in. I'm going to put a hitch on the back of the van so I can I'm going to get a cargo carrier and try to incorporate carrying the bike on it. Get some stuff out of the van.
If you're for sure going to get a cargo carrier, that might be the move. But I've got some guys in camp right now that bought these bicycle mounts. I got one at REI that actually locks. You take your front tire off and put the forks on it, and it tightens it up like normal, but it's got a locking mechanism. I paid $25 for it, and I put mine on my motorcycle rack. But Nick has got some on the back of his van, and so I'll take a picture of that and post it to my Facebook page so you can see it, and it might be an idea.
Yep. Yeah, I'll check it out, too. Yeah, I need to get a bike.
So I can't see if we have anybody waiting to ask a question. Do we have any callers with questions, James?
No, huh? No, you don't.
Okay, well, we're just building momentum.
All right. Well, I got a topic that is pretty much my most popular question that I get about living on the road, and that's health insurance. What do I do for health insurance? It is it is more than anything else. And unfortunately, I don't have an answer to that because I don't have the health insurance. I actually never had it, even while I was renting apartments and houses. But I'm looking into it. I met somebody, they've been emailing me something about being a South Dakota resident, the kind of bracket that I'm in as far as my income. They were trying to tell me that I'm eligible for something really inexpensive, and it'll keep me from avoiding the penalties, because last year I paid a $300 penalty for not having health insurance. So this year it's supposed to be $700. So it's an issue. I know Bob has done a couple blogs about it, and I just haven't looked into the Obamacare or anything yet. And that time frame has expired for this year. So this coming year, I need to get on it, and because unless things change, I can't afford to be penalized for not having health insurance.
Well, I would agree with that for sure, and I'll share my experience. I'm kind of like you. I've been self-employed for a long time, and I haven't visited the doctor in 30 years. I visited a dentist up by San Francisco when I broke a tooth at a baseball game eating one of the concession meals, and so I had to pay for a root canal out of pocket, which was just under $4,000.
Wow.
So I did that, but I had a pretty good job when I was up in San Francisco at the time, so it all worked out with that. Otherwise, I would have went down to Algodones, Mexico, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But this is what happened to me. I broke my collarbone in April of this year with no insurance. And so I was taken by a friend to the emergency room in Sedona, and the ladies in the emergency room gave me all the paperwork and said, sign up for universal health care, which is also known as Obamacare. And so I went down to the municipal building near where I was, and I qualified for it, signed up for it. And all it ended up doing in my case was covering my emergency room fee and my consultation with an orthopedic specialist in clavicles, which who knows how much that was. I don't even remember the bill, but a few x-rays and a consultation these days was probably $2,000 or $3,000.
Right.
So, but there was no actual medical care administered to me. They just looked at it and said, oh, you're a good candidate for self-healing if you want to go that route. And I decided to go that route. And so I'm still kind of a guy that's never had a medical claim in that respect. I could have not gone, and there would have been no difference in the healing of it. But at least I got the consultation for the peace of mind. Now, I'm still under this universal health care plan, but I'm probably honestly never going to use it. My plan is to go down, well, if nothing bad happens that I didn't plan on. I'm probably going to go down to Algodones, which is in Mexico, just south of the border of Yuma, Arizona, and get an eye exam when I go down in like December, because my eyes, I'm due for that. I have readers, but it's time for me to just get a full-fledged exam and probably get some glasses that I wear on the daily for dirt bike riding and mountain bike riding. So I'm going to use that Algodones as my area for my eyes. I may get my teeth cleaned. I tend to take pretty good care of my teeth because I know that I don't see a dentist very often. So I may do that, and then I'll also probably pick up some amoxicillin or some zithromycin. Zithromycin, for those that don't know that are listening, is also known as a Z-Pack. It comes in a 5-tablet blister pack, and it's a course of different antibiotics that if the doctor doesn't really know exactly what you need, they give you a Z-Pack, and I've used those through doctors in the United States a couple of times over the years, and it's knocked out. Basically, for me, a couple of times in the last 30 years, I'll get a cough that doesn't go away. It'll just be a persistent cough that I'll have for 2 or 3 months, and okay, I know what this is. I take a Z-Pack, and it knocks it right out. So that's kind of my health care plan. Hopefully I don't get any compound fractures, but I've still got the universal health care card that's still valid. And so that's what I'm doing. As my income changes, so will probably my health care plan.
Gotcha. Okay, well, that's good information. Probably a similar route I would go. I personally did have a situation at the time. I had just moved into the van. Of course, didn't have health insurance or any health care plan, and I broke my arm skateboarding. And I went to in San Diego. They have these little urgent care clinics. And, you go in, tell them you don't have insurance, and they saw me, gave me x-rays. I got in right away. Let me know that it was a small fracture. Basically gave me a sling, gave me the x-rays, and it was under $200 for the whole business.
Okay.
So that was reasonable, I had a broken arm. I needed to see somebody, and I didn't have insurance. And then he gave me a prescription for some painkillers, which I used. And then after a certain amount of time, I needed a follow-up visit. And I went and saw an orthopedic specialist who gave me another set of x-rays. And that visit was only like $75 with no insurance. So, my experience was I did have an issue. And without insurance, I was able to go to these. I didn't go to a major hospital. I went to one of these little small clinics, and it was totally affordable.
That brings up another. What's that, James?
I was going to say, if his income is low enough, he probably wouldn't pay but $20, $30 a month. And then Obamacare, once you've got it, it's good for a year, and then you got to sign back up. But you can get the app. I know a lot of people I get my health insurance through work, but I know people that have signed up for it, and if their income's low enough, they get it for free.
Huh.
But it's only good for a year, and then they see what your income is, if it's changed or anything.
Yeah. So you're kind of like re-signing up every year, basically.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
so they know how much money you're making.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's probably what I'd be looking into. Because if it's low enough, and over the course of the year, each monthly, if it's lower than the $700 penalty, it would be, of course, the smart thing to do to get the coverage. So that's obviously. So that's an issue, I guess. That's apparently, and with not having a physical address, that's the other concern. A lot of the questions I get is, am I going to be able to get health care and not having a permanent address or a physical address? So like right now, my address is a mail forwarding service. Will I be able to use that and sign up for So that's a good thing.
Well, it sounds like, what we call Obamacare is kind of the move, because it's on a sliding scale. And if someone is in a better position, we're talking from the standpoint of rock bottom income. A lot of people coming into this life may not be in that situation. They may have more options. And so, all the better for them as far as that goes. Another point for me that I'd like to bring up is I plan to be in Mexico at least 2 months of next year, and I may extend that out a third month. And so that's alone is up to 15 to 20% of the year I'll be out of the country. And if I need anything that isn't pressing, I could just get it done there for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that's that.
How about in the promotional video that I put up for this radio show, I talked about your expertise in work camping. So you talked a little bit about the beet harvest. Tell us a little bit about what it's going to be like for you at Amazon. Why did you choose Amazon? Where do you go? What's the setting like? Do they put up with people that live in campers or vans? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, for me, as the same with the sugar beet harvest, those two, Amazon and the beet harvest, to me are kind of like the main easily accessible work camping jobs. A seasonal job that has a defined time frame and a full hookup site is provided for the duration of your work time. There are a lot of other jobs like that, campground hosting and stuff, but those tend to be a little bit more, not all of them, but a lot of them, less income. They prefer couples, and a lot of those will require you to be in a fully self-contained RV. Not all, though, because I know people that are campground hosts, and they're doing it in tents. So there are jobs out there like that. But the Amazon seems to be kind of the standard. They usually have a high demand, so it's you apply early enough, you get the job. I have done it. This will be my second year, and I'm in a van. No questions asked. In the application process, they do ask you, do you have an RV to live in for the duration of the work, the seasonal job? And it's a checkbox. You just check it. I say yes. They don't really ask the size of the rig. That's done through the campground. They give you a list of campgrounds to choose from that they're affiliated with. So when you call them, it's kind of up to the campground's discretion. Now, the first campground I picked, the guy was really cool. I told him I had a van. He said, no problem. We got a spot for you. Come on in. We can't wait to see you. Super friendly. The job itself, it's warehouse work, not glamorous. Totally doable. There's a lot of retired age people that do it, younger people that do it. The pay is decent. It's around $11 an hour. Plus, you get overtime pretty much every week. Condensed, you get a bonus if you stay the whole season. So there's some perks to it. The campgrounds are usually close to the work facility. So it's just like the beet harvest, this kind of place to just go for a short amount of time, have a place to camp, and make some money. Get you back on the road. The whole idea.
So you're saying that they pay you, but they have people that want to drop out halfway through. It's Christmas season is the deal, man. They need people because it's Christmas season, and they just have this huge bump in business, and so they need folks to fill those orders that they normally wouldn't need for the rest of the year. But some people come, and it hurts their feet, it bothers their back, whatever. So they go ahead and give you an incentive by giving you a bonus at the end if you stay all the way through.
Exactly, and that seems to be the thing. And the other aspect of it is the job may be physically pressing, but also you're dealing with people, the people that are taking these work camping jobs, they live on the road and, typically have a personality type of embracing freedom and doing as they please. So they're a type of employee that's a little bit more apt to say, you know what, I've had enough of this job. I'm going to go ahead and move on. You've got a mobile home on wheels, as opposed to a local hire that probably really needs the money to pay rent, so they're going to stick it out. So there is a little bit of an element where campers being known to not stick out jobs because it's so easy just to say, hey, I got my first paycheck. That's going to get me to the next town, next job. But for me, I have stuck out all of the work camping jobs except for the last one at an amusement park. And that I gave them plenty of notice, and they said I'm welcome back any season. So I kind of didn't burn my bridge there. So
are you saying you were a carny?
I'm sorry?
Are you saying you were a carny?
I was a carny, yeah. It was an experience.
Or just a little bit?
Yeah, I did it for, let's see, May, June, July. I did it for 3 months. I stuck it out for 3 months. It was a 5-month gig. They prefer you to stay 5 months, and they offer a bonus. And I stayed 3 and decided I had enough. So.
Did you work on the Midway?
I basically was a ride operator. So
okay.
I was just doing there's 3 positions. That's Adventureland in Iowa. There's a lot of folks that have been doing that work camping gig for season after season. They don't necessarily love it, but it's reliable, full hookup. Some people just want a place to park their rig for a while, so it's a good gig. After about 2 months, I got itchy feet and said, I gotta get out of here. It's too hot. So.
Going back to the Amazon job, I would like to note for anybody that might be listening, considering this job, that may have heard horror stories about them being slave drivers. They do have quotas for people, and they do not, they're not super friendly to folks taking time off for doctor's appointments. There's horror stories of people going to see their baby be delivered and losing their vacation days and stuff. That's for people that work there full time. They're a lot more lenient for the seasonal guys like you'd be.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a job. You dwell on it too much, and that was one of the things. I met an older guy. He was like approaching 80. He had been work camping for years, and his little words of wisdom were, he looked at me and he said, Brian, just remember, it's not a career. It's a seasonal job. He's like, you're going to see everything wrong with this company like any job. Just remember you're here for whatever, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. The job is done. Forget about it the rest of the year. And that was a good piece of advice. I really did start to get invested emotionally, with the way things were happening. And I realized, what, this is Amazon.com. I'm a work camper. I ain't going to change a thing. I'm just going to do what I'm told. And it wasn't that bad.
Let me ask you this. Would it be fair to say that between the beet harvest and the Amazon job, if somebody came out here, they didn't have any money, they're discontent with their lives, they're discontent with their jobs, they can buy themselves. I paid $2,000 for my van off of Craigslist. You paid, what, $1,800 for yours? We're not talking about a huge buy-in. You may already have a car. You could trade for it. So let's just say somebody's starting off with basically next to nothing, and they just got in on the beet harvest, and they just did the Amazon job, which comprises, what, about 2.5 months of your year?
Pretty much, yeah. Yep.
So 2.5 months out of the year, are you able to finance the rest of your adventures and lifestyle for the rest of the year just on those 2 jobs if you keep an eye on your money?
I was not able to. That would be pushing it, even living off of very little. I made it about 5 to 6 months.
So it's going to get you halfway down.
Yeah. So with the job at Adventureland, yes, I did, and that was a 3-month gig. So basically, last year I worked about 5.5 months out of the year. Or close to 6 months. So I worked half of the year, and I had half of the year off, which is something I never could do before with all the other jobs I had. So to me, it's been a very worthwhile. I'm hoping to, with my online streams of income through YouTube and some other things I have planned, it would be great to just be able to do the beet harvest in Amazon and then eventually find some other things to not even have to do those gigs.
Just to tie in the health care and the work camping jobs you're picking up, it should be noted that while you're on the clock with Amazon and as far as the beet harvest goes, if you do pick up an injury on the clock, you got insurance through that business. So even more time that you're under that umbrella of coverage.
Correct. Yeah, that is a benefit, while you are working. So it was a little scary for me going into it, but now just this being my second year, I feel very comfortable, and I do have a sense of security. Both of the jobs, when they ended last year, pretty much let me know as long as I apply right away for the next season, I'm like a guaranteed hire. So it's like in the back of my head, I know I have these places I can go that will provide me enough money to continue to travel and live the way I want to live, as well as while I'm there working the job, have a home base. Those campgrounds, those free campsites, that's a huge deal. Having a place with a bathroom, a shower, a community of people that you're working with, it's really a pretty cool experience to have while you're actually making your money as well. So,
and you're probably meeting other work campers.
Yes, networking, finding out about new jobs, other opportunities you hadn't heard of, their opinions, their experience on things, places to camp along the way, places to see. It really is a cool gig.
Hey, I wanted to tell both of you guys, there's an app you can put on your phone or on your tablet. It's called Health Tap, and you can click on there and pay online. You can see a doctor anytime, anywhere in the world for $30. And they'll write your prescription right there, send it wherever you want. And,
what's it called?
You can Health Tap, TAP. And the doctor will come on there. It's like a GoToMeeting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll see them. They'll see you through your camera. You tell them what's wrong with you, and they'll diagnose you and write your prescription right there and send it wherever you want.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. $30. Hey, you work for that Labor Ready too, haven't you?
I've done work when I was much younger for Kelly Services and Manpower, and I thought about doing that too. If we look into finding places that have a lot of branches at the places we go. So, for instance, just say Manpower is one. It may not be. But if you're in the system with Manpower and your resume is in the system there's nothing to say that you couldn't travel to different places following the seasonal weather and pick up work. And really the type of work we would be doing, all that matters is that you show up on a good night's sleep and you're ready to do a good job and you're polite and you're going to get work everywhere. We're not, and then if you have special skills, all the better, but that's another great option.
They hire 400 or 500 a day right down here where I work.
Yeah.
But it's all Labor Ready, it's called, and it's in the warehouses.
I use the Labor Ready in Iowa. I use it in San Diego, here and there, but it was so long ago that I was no longer in their system. So when I did it recently this summer in Iowa, I had to reapply to get in their system. And like Jamie said with Manpower, same deal. If you're someone that's fairly responsible, that can show up on time, you're clean, rested, and you're nice, that's kind of their criteria. Usually, if they have work, you'll get it. But I found there are some areas where it's pretty competitive. There's a line of people, and they do run out of jobs. But some areas, they have so much work, they don't have enough people, so it's guaranteed.
Oh, yeah, that's like down here. They ain't never got enough. If you can drive a forklift, believe it or not, most of them can't for whatever reason. But once you're on a forklift, they pay you a scale, too, you know what I mean? So you make a lot more money.
Yeah, and the benefit of being mobile. Yeah, and the benefit of being mobile, if you are in a town where they're full up, they actually could probably even recommend the next town or city over that needs help. So yeah, it's a good gig. Sometimes it's some of the work. I had the luxury of my last experience choosing my job. He just listed off a bunch of different stuff. So I could pick something that sounded the least in labor intensive. And it was like a week and a half, almost 2-week gig. I got paid daily on a debit card. It was pretty sweet.
I've got another friend named Brian that also works with Circus Delay, and so what better thing to do than to quit your job and run away with the circus? He's an usher, and they give him, he was in what's that bridge? What's that main pier down there in L.A. when you go out? Santa Monica Pier. He had a pass for his Class C for the beat at the Santa Monica Pier to be the usher at Circus Soleil. Now tell me that if you got to work, that wouldn't be as fun as hell for at least a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I actually met Brian. He does campground hosting too when he's not doing that.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounded like a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, he does it every year, and I don't know that he necessarily even needs to do it financially. It's just fun work. I mean, why? How could it not be?
Right? Yeah, just go follow the circus.
Well, you got a lot of listeners. I don't know if they know the phone number or not. You know, they're online right now.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody
Put it out there and let's get somebody to call in. It doesn't have to be work camping related. It could be anything. You know, probably the biggest topic going into this lifestyle is fear. You know, you just fear of all kinds of different things, and a lot of it has to just begin with fear of losing credibility. And so if somebody has questions about that, or even if you're already somebody that's living the life and you have questions, give us a buzz. Otherwise, we're just going to be on monologue here.
Right on.
Hey, Jay,
What's the number again? Do we need to?
Let me pull it up. The number to call, if you tell me if this is wrong, James. I've got 712-432-3900, and then enter the code 291364. Okay.
No, that's just to listen. The call-in's the same number you dialed in on.
Okay, you want me to repeat that?
Yeah, the 618 number.
Yeah, 618-208-4972.
Yeah, it's right there on the web.
So we've got work camping. We've got, I'm going to be rock climbing and mountain biking and dirt biking here, and then I'm going to probably follow the seasons down to Sedona next. There are some epic mountain bike courses in Sedona where mountain bike clubs go out and groom them on the weekends, and I did one called Slim Shady last time I was there. That was just freaking amazing, and I'm so pumped to not have a broken collarbone anymore, and I can do this stuff. So, there's that. There's ways to make money on the road. So if anybody wants to join in the lifestyle, man, just come on out.
Hey, James, are we in? Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, this is Jay.
Jay, what's up?
Hey,
how's it going?
How you doing? You were talking about healthcare a few minutes ago. I wanted to mention here if a person's a veteran, they really need to check their status with the VA. I'm on Social Security and I also do pension, but I'm still under the income level and considered low income. So the VA covers me fully on my medical. And as James knows, I'm on oxygen, and now I'm on oxygen full time, and they take care of all of that. If it wasn't for that, there's no way I could afford to breathe, So
what's up, Jay?
I'm
glad you called. I said, I'm glad you called, man. What's up? Speak a little bit about that, because I've had inquiries in the past about people that have special needs that they need to be able to attend to on the road. We did a video with Josh and his CPAP machine. We haven't done a video with you yet, but you need to have oxygen all the time. Can the person that needs to have oxygen live in a vehicle and travel and live the traveling lifestyle? How do you get oxygen when you travel? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's a system through the VA that allows me to get oxygen in just about any city in the United States. It goes through what's called VA travel, and there's a company called Rotec that handles this for the VA. So I'm able to come into a city and get my oxygen delivered to a site or pick it up at their location. We've had oxygen deliveries at Burger King, Walmart, truck stops. You know, they bring it right out to me because they deliver to homes. And so it's like in Flagstaff, they bring the oxygen over from Winslow. So, you know, and down in Quartzsite, they bring it in from Parker.
Okay,
So
well, walk us through that. Walk us through that. You show up to Flagstaff, you need oxygen, what do? You call somebody?
I call over to, well, they deliver once a week on Wednesdays. So I'm set up with them on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'll call in and tell them how many bottles I want to exchange. Now, in the van, I normally carry 7 larger tanks that's called an E-tank, and they're about 3 feet tall. So those I have hooked up one at a time on a central system in the van. I have a long hose that goes from front to back that I can use when I'm sleeping, when I'm driving. I can even sit outside my door in my chair with that long hose. Excuse me. I also have...
do you call the same number every time? You just call a centrally located number and tell them where you are?
Yeah, that's how I set it up originally. And then once I'm in with that company, say here in Winslow, then I don't have to, I can just call them direct.
So you just call a central number, you get into a town, they tell you who the local guy is, you agree on a place to meet, and you make it happen.
Got it. Okay. And then I also carry, about 9 or 10 of a smaller bottle that you've seen me carry in a little backpack.
Right.
Those are about tall, so they're quite portable. So, but
so at the end of the day, that's not a reason to not live this way.
Hey, you
right.
got another caller.
Right. You know, it really helps me out here. You know, I mean, I couldn't live this lifestyle without this.
Well, thanks a lot for calling in and talking about it, man.
Yeah,
I'm always glad to share that information with people. And I don't know how this is done, like if a person has Medicare or whatever, but I'm sure that, I'm sure there's a system in place for other types of insurance besides just VA.
Right.
There's got to be.
Right. Well, if you think about it, next time you go get oxygen, ask the guy, hey, do you deliver besides VA? He'd probably tell you.
Yeah.
So we would all know.
I could find out a little more about that. I know they do. Some people are paying for themselves. Some people have their own insurance. Right now, I'm working with the VA. The VA will issue a home unit that's an oxygen generator, and it's this big unit that, it's about the size of the fridge in your van, okay?
Right.
So, of course, I don't have room for that, and I'd have to run a big inverter on it. But I'm working with the VA now to get a portable unit. They do not issue those to us, but they'll let us borrow one for 30 days out of the year for a travel instance. But that's just a teaser for me. I need one full time. So my oxygen therapist is working with the prosthetics department to see if we can't get that portable unit because of my situation. I explained to her, I consider myself houseless, not homeless, but for people like that live in a box, you have to tell them I am homeless. So I told them I'm homeless on my income. I can't afford a box, and I have to live this way.
Right.
She says, I understand. And I said, I also have to follow the seasons because my base in Tucson is too damn hot in the summertime. I can't live up here in Flagstaff because it's too cold in the wintertime.
Right. Where are you at now, Jay? Where are you now?
We came on over to Winslow. It got a little cool up in the trees, and I got tired of the mud, and it was raining. So,
well, thanks for calling in, man. We gonna see you in Havasu?
Oh yeah, we're coming down that way. We're gonna hang out up here for about maybe another month or so, and then we're gonna kind of start working our way over there.
Same with me, so I'm just planning on seeing you there.
Yeah, it depends on the temperatures. So, we'll watch the weather.
Well, thanks for jumping in on this, man.
Yeah, it sounds like you're having a blast.
Oh my gosh.
Furthermore, I think this is just a super program. I mean, what a way to go, man. I'm glad y'all thought of doing this.
Well, thanks, man.
All righty. Look, I'm going to give other people a chance to call in. And, let's get together and we'll define more of this later on. And
you got it.
Together. Okay, talk to you later.
See you, Jay.
Okay, bye.
Hey, you got another caller on now.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your name?
Is that me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. Go ahead.
This is Bobby Jean. I'm out in Huntington Beach, California, and
nice.
I've been following I can't even say it. Enigmatic, Nomadics, James and Bob, and I've been following AdventureVanLife, Brian, and I'm really liking the info I'm getting from you guys.
Well, and thanks a lot.
You're welcome. You guys, thank you. I mean, you guys are changing my life right now. I'm still in an apartment. I've got a lease till the end of November. So as soon as my lease is up, I'm hitting the road. I recently got my benefits from the VA. I'm a disabled veteran. And I guess that's kind of a theme so far in these calls. And
thanks for your service.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was not a problem. I did about 6 years in the Navy. So
right on. Yeah, I was on the Carl Vinson.
Yeah, I was on a Spruance class destroyer called the USS Scum. So
right on.
In fact, that thing's been mothballed. But anyhow, I got me a little bit of a pension. I got a 70% rating with the VA, so I'm getting about $13.50 a month, which doesn't go very far here in Huntington Beach.
No.
But from what I understand, it might put me in the middle class as far as van dwelling.
You'll be in high cotton out here.
Yeah, you'll do all right with that.
That's what I'm hearing, and I already had bought my van when I found you guys online, and I got a 1997 Dodge 2500 Ram van, and owner Yeah, the owner before me, he converted it. It's custom inside. It had 4 captain's chairs. I've pulled 2 of those out already, and some coverage in the back. But it had a really nice motorcycle lift built into it that comes out electronically and sits on the ground. You roll your motorcycle on it and put it in the van. So I got me a little motorcycle hauler van.
You gonna put a bike on it?
Really, I've got one right now. I got me a Honda Rebel. I bought it's about 3 years old, brand new condition, low mileage. So I can get around on that economically. It ain't a Harley, but it'll do.
It gets 80 miles a gallon and it goes on the interstate.
There you go. Yeah. So anyhow, I've got a place to sleep alongside of it. I put some sofa cushions in there, and I'm working on I got 3 months to go. So right now I'm in the acquiring phase. I need a heater and a stove and a fridge and, whatever else I can do. I would certainly like to go with the battery as well. So, but I don't know that I have much for questions, except that I'm kind of looking to change my residence. I followed your stuff. I was going to go back through it on the dwelling, or changing your dwelling and getting a license and stuff. And go ahead. Hello?
Yeah, I did that recently in South Dakota, and it worked out really good. And I was previously California.
Right.
The main draw for me was that I wouldn't have to have it smogged every other year. And
that's big.
Yeah, so that was a big deal for me. And I did need the mail forwarding service as well already. So it was like 2 things that I kind of wanted to do, and they go kind of hand in hand as well. So being up there, I said I'll just do it, and I'm really glad I did.
Who did you go with? Who did you go with?
I used a My Dakota address, and a little note on that I forget to mention to a lot of people is when you go to do that, you can get your license, your driver's license, anywhere in South Dakota. You can go to any town that has a driver's exam center and do that. But when you want to register your vehicle, you have to register the vehicle in the town that the mail forwarding service is based. So I used my Dakota address, which is based in Madison, South Dakota. So I had to register the van in Madison, South Dakota. I can't do that in any other city. It has to be in the city that is the mail forwarding service where it's based. So they have one in Rapid City also, which is on the other side of South Dakota, which is the other option. And so if you use, I think it's called America's Mailbox, that's based in Rapid City. So if you're closer to the west side of the state, I would recommend doing it there. And if like Madison,
awesome,
which is the east side, that's definitely something to keep in mind.
Awesome, thank you. Because my son lives in Colorado, and I want to spend a lot of time out there. So I want somewhere as close to there that I can go frequently. And so Rapid City sounds like a good solution for me. And that's America's Mailbox, you said?
Yeah, America's Mailbox. They're based out of Rapid City. Yeah.
Awesome. And what about with the 2500, am I going to be looking at any like commercial vehicle stuff, or I don't think I'm registered as a commercial vehicle now.
Well, mine was registered commercial in California, and what is it now? I don't even think they asked any of that in South Dakota. I think they just tapped me down as, I think they call it just passenger. You're just registered as a passenger vehicle. Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it was real smooth. You don't even have to take a test. You just go in, pay your money, and it's a done deal. It's so simple.
Is it like every 5 years after that?
Yeah, so the word I got is for registration, and that's obviously every year, like every state. So you can do
Right.
that online. You can renew registration online pretty much indefinitely. And then for your driver's license, it's good for 5 years. And I was under the impression, from what she told me, that it's good for 5 years, and in 5 years, I can actually renew it online once. So I'll be able to renew it, and it'll be good for basically a full 10 years without having to go back. I can renew online once, and then after that, I have to go back in physically and take another eye exam.
That's a great deal. Okay.
Yeah, you really don't have to actually physically be in the state other than to initially do it, and then.
And if I remember correctly, it took you one night of being in South Dakota, and then you could go and do your license.
Yeah. They call it an overnighter. They're very familiar with it. When you go into the driver exam center to get your license, the first thing they ask for is do you have 2 forms to prove your residency, like a gas and electric bill or something. And I just tell them, no, I have a campground receipt or a hotel receipt. And they go, oh, you're a one-nighter. And they're familiar with the process. It's so weird because you feel like you're doing something kind of like shady, but they're totally, it's a process they're familiar with, and it's so simple.
Yeah.
The mail forwarding service gives you all the paperwork that you need prior. So everything that they ask for, I had all set in a little envelope that the woman at the mail forwarding service had set me up with. So it was just boom, boom, boom. I was in and out in 5-10 minutes.
Awesome. I'm really happy that you guys are doing this call-in thing. At first, I didn't have the number to call in. I was listening since the beginning, but then when you guys gave the phone number, I just switched over to this line. It's nice to be able to finally talk to you guys. I've been watching you a lot. And I really do appreciate what you're doing for the whole community. I believe there's going to be a big influx of people now with this information.
That's awesome. I'm so glad it's helpful. That's great.
Yeah.
I appreciate the feedback.
And,
thanks for calling in.
You both have got some really good skills at putting out information. Between Brian and Bob and James, you guys are doing a great job, and I hope you keep doing it. And I'd really like to catch up with you guys in Quartzsite sometime.
Come on out,
man. Yeah, come on out.
All right. When is that rubber tramp come?
I think it starts on the 5th of January, and it's in Quartzsite. Don't quote me, but if it's not the 5th, it's like a day or two. It's right in there.
Well, I'm going to be mobile, so I'm going to try and catch up with y'all there.
Hey, listen, one last thing. If you've got 3 months, go ahead and put your refrigerator and different things on your wish list on Amazon or whatever to buy them new. But keep an eye on Craigslist and another one called OfferUp and see if stuff comes up. I know on OfferUp you can put in a search and it'll notify you if the item that you're looking for comes in. So you might be able to get a better price or maybe something a little nicer than what was going to be in your budget as far as, like the size of the Nomadic or whatever. And then another route you can go is there's something called Google Alerts, which ties into Gmail accounts. Gmail accounts are free if you don't already have one. You can go into Google Alerts and just type into your browser how do Google Alerts work for more information, but you type in the keywords you want, and then you get emails either every hour as they happen, once a day, if somebody posts something, so you get first mover advantage on that Nomadic fridge that somebody's practically given away. So you got 3 months, you might as well, scout some stuff out.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
You bet.
Yeah, I've never heard of either of those. Yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
Oh, Let Go too?
Yeah, that's another one.
I saw that advertised on YouTube. Okay. Thank you.
Well, best of luck to you, man. Hope to see you out there.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian. You take care.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
See ya.
James?
Bye.
Yeah.
James, it's Jay again. You've got some experience with registering in Arizona. you might want to share that. It's inexpensive and it's not hard to register here.
Well, I can share that I recently got an Arizona driver's license, which is good until I'm 65. So in the case with Arizona, my license is good for another 16 years without any renewal. And I would just like to also share the fact that when I was filling out the paperwork, I saved this document, so I have this document on me. When I was filling out the paperwork at the Department of Motor Vehicles, they call it something different, I think there is a little area where it talks about what qualifies you as an Arizona resident. And on that document, it states that if you do not have a place of residence, that you may use a homeless shelter's letterhead stating that you would like to use that address as your address on your driver's license. So you don't even have to have an address.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then it's perfectly legal.
Huh.
Yep.
Know that.
Yep. And the insurance here is cheap, especially if you register in a smaller town where there's less chance of accidents. Also, tags are very cheap. Our big Dodge van, it cost me $20 a year for my tag, and I buy them 3.
They let me go 2 years. They don't let me go 1, 2, or 5, and I picked 2 just because I didn't know if I'd be in Arizona for 5 years. But the option was there, so I went ahead and got a 2-year tag. And I don't remember how much it was, maybe $50. I don't know, something like that. And so they really make it easy in Arizona to become a resident if that's your route.
Right on. And though some people look at what state they want because of tax purposes. Arizona does have income tax, and we do have over-the-counter tax. But if you fall within low income, I mean, you don't have to worry about that,
Right. That's a high-quality problem out here.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to throw that in there, and a lot of our forum members on Keep RV are registering in Arizona, and they're finding it very easy.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, there's something to it.
Yep.
Am I still on?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm going back out.
Oh, I was just going to say, how long does it take to get a license over there in Arizona if I find one of them homeless shelter addresses?
When in my case, they gave me a color temporary license on the spot that was on paper, and then I got my hard license in the mail in probably 2 weeks. And you're going to say, well, how do you get mail? You can use any number of different addresses. And when I filled out my paperwork, this is worthy of note. When I filled out my paperwork to get my driver's license, I had a physical address and a mailing address, and then I had a box that I could check of which address I wanted to be on my driver's license. So you could go down to a mailboxes, etc., and have your driver's license mailed there. Heck, you could have your driver's license mailed in Colorado to where your son lives if you know that's where you're going to be, and your address will be whatever you want it to be on your license.
Awesome. Okay, that's a good idea. Right on. I'm glad you got a brain there because I didn't think of that, but that's perfect. Right on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I may go to Arizona in the future. I didn't know that.
Damn, you guys just gave me some really good advice. I don't even have to drive over to South Dakota now.
Yeah, I would just go to Arizona, man. If I knew that, I might do things differently. And I'm not locked in. That's the beauty of it. Someone asked me that too. They said, "Well, am I locked in to? I can change my residency again, no problem. I could go to Arizona."
Right.
Well, one last. I was just going to say one last thing to note about that Arizona driver's license. If you're going to get an Arizona driver's license, make sure you don't go to downtown Phoenix because you're going to have your vehicle small. Pick a small town that doesn't do small checks. That's super important.
Yes. Good call. Good tip.
So you probably don't want Tucson. You don't want Phoenix. You want
any place
small.
where there's a small check we want to avoid. Plus, bear in mind, whatever zip code you use on your driver's license is what the insurance company is going to use to base your rates. So the more remote you are, it's going to be more favorable to your insurance rates as well.
What about Quartzsite? Can you do it there?
Absolutely, you can do it in Quartzsite. That's a great location. You're going to have to drive up to Parker to get your driver's license, but it's only an hour away, and there's a super Walmart there, so you probably can, do a supply run while you're up there.
Way cool. Yeah, that sounds like the best solution because I can leave here end of November and first week of December. I could be all set up with a driver's license, registration, new insurance. Sounds great.
And you'll be down there for the big tent.
Yeah. You RTR while you're down there.
There you go.
I do want.
Well, I'm looking. Huh?
I want to mention that do not register in Phoenix or Tucson because they require smog.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
Got it.
Smog and higher insurance and probably registration too. So, okay, Parker sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
So what do I have to do in Parker as opposed to Quartzsite? Just a license?
The Quartzsite's so small that they don't have a Department of Motor Vehicles, but they do have quiet times where you can get mail delivered for probably $1 per package.
Okay. But is there would I want to make that my mailing address in Quartzsite, or should I stick with something maybe like go all the way up to Pahrump like you did, Bob?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Here's something to note about mailing addresses once you hit the road. You're going to want to use the mailing address where you are to get your driver's license delivered when you apply for it initially, but a mailing address is a very fluid, malleable thing out here. I probably have 10 different mailing addresses already all queued up in my Amazon account, just depending on where I go. So there's not going to really be a mailing address per se. You'll have one on your driver's license, but there's going to be so many different places you visit, you'll quickly get in the habit of spotting mailbox receiving places as you drive through towns, and you're just going to always be changing that.
Okay.
Sounds good. Quartzsite also has 2 or 3 that I know of mailing services there that are a resident address. So they're not a business address, so they look like you're in a home. And the people that those services are great. They do a wonderful job, and they're not expensive. It'll cost you about $100 a year.
But you couldn't use that address to get a license. You'd have to do the homeless shelter thing, probably.
You could use that address for a license.
No,
you could use it for a license.
If you have an address at one of those that is a person that's running it out of their home, which, like I say, there are a few in Quartzsite. I believe there's one on Washington Street. Then it is a home address, and you can use that.
But I would have to have a bill or something in my name, right?
No, you don't have to have anything.
No.
Okay. Here's something to note about that. You're bringing up a good point. If you want to get a what's it called with the yellow star, like a federal verified driver's license, you're going to need that stuff. Well, real ID, I think it's called.
About the real ID, yeah.
Yeah,
real
if
ID,
you want the real ID, you got to do that. But this is what I did, and this is what I would recommend you do anyway, man. Get yourself right now, 3 months to go before you hit the road, apply for your passport card or a straight-up passport while you have your physical address. This is a good thing that this got brought up. Get your passport card. Now that's your federal ID. I use it most all the time instead of a driver's license, instead of my Arizona driver's license. That'll get you on any plane. It's a real ID. And you're going to want to dip down into Algodones for things, or Mexico for things anyway. And it's only maybe $75. So I would jump on that right now. And then you can just get your driver's license sent to you without electric bill or a phone bill, but it's just not a real ID. It's not a big deal.
Okay. That sounds like a good solution. Haven't even thought about getting a passport. I really don't expect to go flying. I'm not even sure if I want to leave the country, but I've been getting a little more and more paranoid with all the stuff about people when they leave the country, so I may not even need to worry about it.
You're not going to have to worry about it. And when we go down to courtside, there's going to be, I'll probably go down before I go to the RTR, but if there's a group of us that are going down to Yuma and then going into Algodones, we'll be like, hey, man, come on, we're going to go get a burrito in Mexico and get some zithromycin or something. And, you just want to have all your options open.
Okay.
I need to get a passport for that very reason.
Yep.
You ever think about joining the escapees and just not having to worry with none of it?
I've never looked into that.
It's the oldest RV club in the world. It's down in Texas. It's totally legal. It's like $60 a year, and you got a permanent mailing address, mail forwarding. They got on-staff lawyers. I mean, you have no legal problems once you join them.
Their mail package costs about $215 to start up, and it's about $115 a year. That's for their C package, where you can get more than just the first class mail.
Well, yeah, but you can get your license and stay legal and get a passport, all of that. But you can have any other mail forwarding from anywhere you want to use. I'm just saying, if you use them, stay legal and have a permanent residence that you won't have no problem with, you pay that fee every year, you'll never have a problem. Plus, you can stay there for free at their campgrounds, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's a good bonus. I didn't think about that. They're only like $40 a month. I just got their packet. I just asked them for information. They sent me a application.
Yeah, that's an option a lot of people go with. I've met quite a few people that use escapees. If the cost you can afford, for me, it was just too expensive. But there is the luxury of them basically taking care of everything for you. And you do have access to the campsites, and there is that element of camaraderie. They have a forum, and they do meetups. And I know a lot of people that really love escapees. And then they also have the kids of the founders of escapees started escapers, which is like the younger demographic thing. And same deal, they offer all the same thing, but you're kind of that belong to the group of the younger folks. But same deal, it's just too expensive for me. I could do it for cheaper, so that's why I didn't use it.
Yeah, I'm not sure which group I belong to. I'm 57 right now. I feel young, but...
Right? Yeah, they show up out in Quartzsite. They got a big meetup in Quartzsite right around the same time as RTR. There's a big experience.
Okay.
Maybe we should go over there, Brian, and talk to them about... what they like about being members. I've driven through it a couple of times on my dirt bike, and I'm familiar with them, but I just thought that when I see these big old 40-foot pushers, that they're just a little over my pay grade, so I never paid much more attention to it than that.
And that's the thing. That's why, the cost, it kind of puts me in a different class. I feel like I'm just not at the class of most of the people that can afford the monthly fee. They, like you said, they're in a big Class A diesel pusher, and it's not that they're any, less of a person, or they're I know a lot of people that are part of escapees and they love it. But that's a great idea, stopping by and maybe getting an interview. I know Technomadia, they have a big online presence. They're members of escapees and they love it. They've just shared some info on it.
Well, maybe we could go and just sit in on one of their cocktail hours and just pick their brains and just listen in.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great idea.
They seem like
Yeah, I'll be out in Quartzsite again this winter.
Okay, good.
Cool.
And get on your passport too, man. You said you didn't have a passport?
No, I don't. I need to get one after my last experience. So, like you said, having that extra form of ID that's recognized as official ID, I need to have that. So, for sure.
And so then we can go down and hang out in Algodones, and then if you want to go to Baja after that too. What are you doing from, say, the end of January to maybe April or May? Do you have a job lined up?
No, I don't. That's my free time, but I just don't know if I have the finances. I'll definitely be thinking about it. I just don't know. My initial reaction was like, no, just not the right time. But we'll see. I definitely will be into a trip to Algodones. I think I need to see a dentist anyway. So.
We can talk about it more later, but just salt this away. I looked at the fuel to get me from, say, Quartzsite down to Cabo San Lucas, so you could just run those numbers yourself, maybe $600. And then $75. Now, listen, that's $600 for 3 months, so factor in what gas you'd be spending over that 3-month period anyway.
Right.
You know, and so then there's that, and then there's the passport's the card will run you $75. You don't have to get a dog inspection, which I needed. Maybe a $40 visitor visa, and then it's the regular food and fuel and expenses for insurance was $120 for a 3-month policy.
Wow.
So when you put them side by side of what you'd be spending over that 3-month period anyway, it's really not that big of a difference, and the payoff is huge because it's going to be cold in Quartzsite but warm in Mexico. You know?
Yeah, it sounds fun for sure. Yeah, I'll be thinking about it. It may work out. We'll see.
What do you call on cold in Quartzsite?
Well, that's a good question. You'll see it dip into the 30s at night, or at night it'll dip into the 30s, and then it all depends right around that time of year whether it's a cold front or a warm front. If a cold front comes in, it may not reach any more than maybe 50 or 55 during the day, so you're still kind of wearing a jacket.
Yeah,
I'd be wearing shorts and T-shirt.
A lot of people do. Yeah, a lot of people do. If it gets warm, it could even be in the 70s. But it just depends on that 2-week period what the weather's going to be like, you know?
Yeah. Well, here in Illinois, it'll be a lot colder than in January.
I don't even want to think about it.
Neither do I.
I might be out there, though, hopefully.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wanting to throw something in. You guys were talking about traveling around, and I was thinking about, in the U.S. here, for any other veterans that may be listening that might be on service-connected, if they've got any kind of percentage on their service-connected benefits, they can get a free pass, lifetime pass, for the national parks. And
there you go.
That's
I just want to make sure people know about it because I luckily was hanging out with some other veterans that told me about it, and I'm going down next month to, I think, the Angeles National Forest to their office there, and they do it inside any of the main offices at any of the locations.
That's awesome.
And
I love that.
Yeah, just bring your letter, your award letter, showing any kind of percentage, your DD-214. Make sure they know you are in the service. Kind of redundant, but I think it'd be good to have that. And of course,
absolutely,
your identification. So shouldn't be a problem. Just going in there, you pick it up. It's free, no charge. Just bring the documents. You don't need to make copies. If you show up in person, they just look at it and give it to you.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
And I will give you some feedback after I do it if you want, maybe on
absolutely
one of your sites or your YouTube channels.
Sure. Yeah, I do. So how are we doing, James? Right on. Do we have any more callers, James, or are we about ready to wrap the first radio show up for the Nomadics radio show and get it in the books?
Is James there?
Yeah, we don't have none, but it'll be better next time.
Well, no, this is fine. I think it went really well.
I agree.
No,
I think it went really well, guys. I think that was great.
The call in will be better. I'll have to figure out some way. I guess most people didn't go to the websites what it was. I got that number on there. There's a lot of them on the other listen line.
How many people are listening?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a suggestion here. I've seen other people do this where they just go on there on the YouTube and they do like a 1-minute announcement that it's coming up and put out the numbers in the comment section or the description down below. So, give us both phone numbers. But if Brian and you, Bob, and James did that, you might get a little more attendance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wasn't able to do that this week. I had some connectivity problems, but I agree. I think that would help. And then maybe even, too, announcing the number more, because like you said, that you were listening but just didn't have the number available, so if you announced it more. But I think it went great. Great job, guys. Look forward to listening again.
Yeah, I got the second
again.
number. I didn't give it to him in time, but yeah, we'll get it straightened out.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think things went fine. I'm over here with my head tilted so my power cord isn't too because I've got a short power cord. I'm going to get a headset. I can post the number ahead of time. I mean, this was just a launch, and so it's probably good we weren't inundated.
Hey, I'll tell you what, though. I just went and bought one that plugs in. Now, I've got a Bluetooth headset, but I got one that plugs in at Walmart. I was going to buy one, and that was the cheapest place I could find, and it was only like $11. And boy, it works excellent. You just plug it straight in your phone.
Yeah, I'll get one of those.
It's a hard wire.
Well, cool. Are we ready to wrap it up then?
Yeah.
Sounds good, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, anytime you guys want me to be a part of the show, just give me a holler. I'll be glad to to sit in. It was fun.
Absolutely. Wish you were hanging out with us in Moab, but I understand you got your stuff to do.
I know. I'm actually jealous. I've been seeing some pictures on Facebook. I've been following Boomhauer, and he's been showing his camp.
Put up more of them videos, Brian.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I've been trying to do 3 a week. I've been keeping real busy with it. So yeah, looking forward to getting Monday.
You could be running a cooking show, man. The way you cook.
Yeah,
I kind of like that. I kind of like that.
Cool.
I just want to make one announcement. I just want to make one quick announcement for anybody that might be listening that would like to hear about children on the road. I've got a video of Brittany and her son coming up on Sunday tomorrow that I'll be posting to the Enigmatic Nomadics YouTube channel. So stay tuned for Brittany and her, I believe he's 3-year-old son. And we'll be talking about how she lives on the road with a 3-year-old and is not one bit intimidated about the fact that he's going to be entering school age soon, and she's got it all pretty worked out. So we'll be putting that video up. Do you have anything coming up, Brian?
I do, yeah. Like I mentioned, I've been trying to do a consistent 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Lately, I've just been documenting my, my day-to-day travels. I do have some stuff coming up regarding the van life gathering that we went to in Colorado, just to share a little bit about that and how awesome it was to connect with other vanners. And then I'm also going to do some stuff a little differently coming up this week and the following week, just reflecting back, because I'm coming up on 1 full year on the road. I left San Diego September 12th last year, so I'm coming up on a full year. I'm going to do a little bit of reflection stuff, talking about what I've been through this whole experience so far, and just kind of sharing some stuff that I haven't been lately. I've just been more focusing on the camp areas and stuff like that. So it should be good. It should be good. I'm looking forward to it. I've had some requests on sharing more about my personal journey part, so I'm going to get back to doing that some more. So yeah, keep an eye out at Adventure Van Man on YouTube.
Definitely. I know that those mashup videos of a lot of different scenes of your past take a lot more time to shoot, but they're also a lot more rewarding when you look back at them. So I'll make sure I'll check that out.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say one thing. If people would look on the website Friday night at 6:00 Central Time, there will be a number that'll be posted there. You can call in and just say hello to anybody that wants to call in. Just talk to one another. The number will be posted there in the next couple of days. You know, if anybody wants to just talk to one another, you can talk to each other from all across the country. You know, it'll be up on the website though.
Like a group
That's
call.
radio. That's radionomad.net, 23.net/home.
Well, you don't have to put the home in there.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, well, I'm done if you guys are, and we'll...
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, James, for hosting this, and thanks a lot, Brian, for jumping on the line and talking about your travels and work camping. Really appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you having me, guys. Thank you, James, for your efforts. I really appreciate it for doing this. I think it's going to be a good thing, and thank you, Jamie, for having me. Thanks, guys.
All right, man.
Okay.
See you guys later.
See you
James.
All right.
Take care, guys.